should we keep the question at the end? So.
Not any questions now, it's fine. But please guys, see some people sleeping. I'm gonna give just a few slides today, not long, because I want to give the value to hit homes. It will be very short presentation.
Wake up.
We covered this yesterday.
Did you play the theme or not yet? No? Be an example.
Okay.
Let's take one time, one time to refresh them.
Sure.
Be an example. That's it. Wake up, guys. 1, 2, 3. Be an example to the believer. Louder. Be an example to the believers in word and conduct, in love and spirit, in faith and purity. Be an example. Nanny, be an example to the believer. Nisha, be an example to the believers in word and conduct, in love and spirit, in faith and purity. Be an example. Nanny, be an example. 1 Timothy 4:12. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Abuna. I hope we can be an example to everybody. So we covered this life has no meaning, whether you exist for a long time or a short time. In the big picture, your existence, your parents' existence, grandpa and grandma existence, after they die, just tear down their pictures, they don't exist, they're just dust. Or, if people, atheists, believe in there is afterlife, still it has no purpose without God. Again, you're just existing. We give 2 examples, funny example last time. 2 people having a conversation that's very silly, waiting for a third person to come to start something meaningful, and that person never shows up. We just continue silly conversation. That's life without having God as a meaning in it. Another example, remember when you go to a movie or you go to a theater and the curtain opens and you see what a bunch of junk. You look at it for 30 seconds and then the curtain closes. That's exactly our life without having a meaning. So, short life or long life does not give it a meaning. The meaning is there is someone I am accountable for, someone who loves me, someone who really cares about my presence. So just me existing doesn't give it a meaning. Even if I affect others, it's called relative meaning, not absolute meaning, not the big meaning. You did some meaningful things here and there, but in the big meaning, it's because I am part of eternity. I am part of a bigger purpose. Me as a human here, I'm very substandard. Adam and Eve were so much more intellectually superior to us now. We're still discovering science. Adam and Eve would have known science from God directly. So our existence after the fall is a smaller intellectual ability. It's just out of God's gift, He lets us discover His creation. But unfortunately, in our stupidity, when we discover it, we remove Him. Romans 1 says this, people love the creation more than the creator. People love science more than the one who put science. So, God is not just a scientist, definitely. This is the least thing He does for us. He cares, He dies for you. So, we get to the second point, which is value. Oh, let me give you some atheists. What they say. This is an example of somebody who, when he discovered that his life has no meaning, it's like a man who goes on a vast planet, finding himself alone, no God, and he having 2 containers. So, having 2 containers, one with poison and one for immortality. He found himself completely alone, completely lonely. There is no concept of God, just existing. What did he do? Realizing that he's alone forever, he decides to drink the glass of poison. I can't exist alone. I can't exist with no purpose. I can't just exist. But to his horror, he found that he drank the one for immortality. Imagine you're alone on a planet, completely alone, and you find this existence is like useless, and then instead of ending it, he decides to drink the container for poison. He drinks the wrong one, and he exists forever. That's the state of man if he just exists. Very, very, very bad concept if we exist without the purpose of God. Let's go to the value. Another person, a French person called Sartre, this is one of the atheists. He has a play called No Exit. There's no way out. He's atheist. Let's see what he writes. He asserts that life is hell. Final line of the play, let's get on with it. يلا نخلص. And when is death coming? This is an atheist view of life. Sartre is an atheist, and he made for himself a meaning by being a Marxist. You know, Marxism is the Russian imperialism that really took the land from people, and the government became very rich and the people became very poor, and he found the meaning in his life by being one of those people. So this is, again, what a person inside feels. Life is just a tape I'm going through till it ends. It's called nausea. You know what is nausea? When you have nausea, what is nausea?
You feel like you're gonna throw up.
Exactly. Nausea of living. Life is something I'm gonna throw up. You guys don't appreciate what God does in our life, His existence. Another one called Camus is a French person as well. In The Stranger, he inside discovers that life has no meaning with no God to give it one. French biochemist Jacques Monnet, in his book Chances and Necessity, man finally knows that he is alone in the indifferent, yeah, it doesn't make a difference. Immensity, the universe is very big, immensity means immense, big of the universe. Man is alone. فعلا, without God you're so alone, you're an orphan. You're really an orphan. No one to pray to, no one who handles your life. Take care of everything. You have the responsibility of taking care of everything. Mom and dad can't help you. It's you. Don't call for anybody to prepare your life for you, or to give you a plan, or to take care of your enemies, or to facilitate things. No, that doesn't exist. You take care of everything. This is so bad, so depressing. That for the Coptic Church, for example, we moved the mountain. You know that the Coptic Church moved the mountain? You know that miracle? And that's why we add 3 days to which fasting? We add 3 days to a certain fasting in the year because of the 3 days of fasting for the Muqattam mountain movement. Not land. Another one. It is 40 days, and it became Nativity. Thank you very much. Nativity fasting, which is before the Christmas or before the coming of the Lord, or before Nativity, it became 43 days because of the Muqattam mountain movement. So this is, as I'm telling you, if you want to live, if people who live without God have to handle everything by themselves. You cannot tell somebody, I'll forgive you, God will take care of it. No, you can't. You have to take care of everything. Somebody hits you, you have to hit him back. Somebody fights with you, you have to fight back. Forgiveness has no purpose. Why do you forgive? What's the point? It's a really ugly life without God's existence. And that's value. So being a saint or being satanic, being a good person or an evil person, it doesn't make a difference. No difference if it all ends in the grave. And that's it. Then intrinsically there is no difference how one lives. Destiny is independent of lifestyle or behavior, and hence one ought to live as one pleases. Do whatever you want because it doesn't matter whether you're good or bad. Do you like to live in a world like this? Very, very, very depressing. It's going to be full of wars. The word forgiveness should never be used. Russian Dostoevsky says if there is no immortality, all things are permitted. Look at this lady, his name is Anne Randis. She wrote a book praising the virtues of selfishness. Do you guys get this? She wrote a book that says how being selfish is a great thing. Would you like to read that book? How to be a selfish person? If you read that book and you start acting with it, you're going to be the saddest person in the world. Why? People who want to take are sad people. People who want to give are happy people. Because when you want to take everything you want to get it. And when you don't get it, you start getting upset and getting maybe angry. So people who live to take are the most people who are angry, are the most people who are sad. And the people who are relying on giving, or maybe later, or obeying, or whatever the Christian life is, they are very peaceful from inside. Don't take. عشان كده in Acts chapter 20 it says, it's better to give than to what?
Take.
Very good. So Ayn Rand has a very unhappy life. Praises the virtues of selfishness. You can just live for yourself, and that is perfectly commendable. What does commendable mean? Do you know, Yusuf? Do you know what is commendable mean? I am writing big words to see if your vocabulary is good. To commend someone means to praise him, to say you're good, this is a good thing. Okay, about value. Value means right or wrong. If there were no God, then there is no objective standard of right or wrong. Objective means this is right, this is wrong. Who says it? God. But if there is no God, who will say what is right and what is wrong? You make it up. You make it up. Why not? This is wrong for me, but it's right. It's wrong for you, but it's right for me. I'll tell you, this is called relativism. Relativism, everything is relative. There's nothing absolute. You know that term? Everything is relative. What is right for me could be wrong. Could be wrong. What's right for you could be wrong for me. And what's wrong for you could be right for me. Because there is nothing says who's right and who's wrong. There's no Bible. There's no God. There's no right and wrong. Everything is permissible. And that's what, there's no value. Value, to have a value system means to say this is wrong and this is right. These are my values. Who is to judge the values? The concept of morality. Who says that this something is morally good and this is something is morally bad? Myron.
Well, a lot of people would say like the law.
The law. Okay. Why? The law changes. For example, at some point there were things not permitted by the law, and it became what? In the law. That's not absolute right and wrong. We know that there is laws in the United States or any country that live in could be opposing the Bible. For example, in California, it's legal to do gambling. Is gambling correct? It destroys people. If you see somebody addicted to, and who makes money? The state. It's just more money for the state. And they call it entertainment or gaming, to give it a smaller, they don't call it gambling much. So that's the idea, when there is no absolute right or wrong that hurts the person, because God knows you, He created you. So the Bible is written to make you happy on earth and in heaven, and He is the only one who can know what's good for you. And then the state or the people you live among, they make it as they go. You see things around us that used to be right, or it used to be wrong, and now they are accepted. Drugs, for example. You can have now prescription to have it. And you can pay money to get it very easily. And sometimes they legalize it in order for people not to make it a crime. Is this right? No, it's not. If it's administered by a doctor, because he knows exactly the dosage, that's right. Drugs are needed for surgery, drugs are needed for medicine. It's invented for this, to ease the pain of a sick person under the supervision of an honest doctor, not a doctor who writes prescription over the internet just for people to go and buy it. It looks right, I got it from a doctor, but is that right? No. That's what you get when you have no value. No value means that it's a big English term. No value and no value system. You know what I mean by a value system? A system that says this is right and this is wrong. That's the Bible. That's God. Because He knows exactly what is right. He is the truth, and anything outside Him is a lie. That's why we can never change the truth, because He is the truth. Who is to judge the values? Okay, to say that something is wrong with no God existing to forbid it has no meaning at all. Yeah, this is wrong. If there is no God, why is it wrong? So God really creates this concept of right and wrong very clearly. Without him, it's hard to convince oneself with it.
I think, guys, it's like somebody who invent the phone. So who is better to know from him the iPhone manual or my friend advice? The Apple manual, because they are the manufacturer. So they are better know what is good and what is bad for this device. You got that? So God, the manual is the Bible. He gives us a manual, as Abuna said, to have a happy life on earth and a joyful and everlasting life on heaven. So who to believe? The manufacturer, the creator, or anybody else?
Well said. Myron, do you have a question?
Yeah, I had a question about that because there was a huge controversy a couple of years ago because in the manual for a certain famous phone company, they said they put something that if you did that, it would destroy the phone. That way they would force people to go buy new ones.
That's the ethics of the manufacturer. That's different, and that's why we believe in God's ethics much more. He's the author of ethics. That's a good example. So even the manufacturer can put something to benefit their industry, but not to benefit the consumer. But God always benefits us. He has in His mind our benefit, not His own benefit. God doesn't need us, by the way. God doesn't need us at all. Actually, we give Him a headache. If you think about it, our existence for God is a headache. Why does He love it? Because He loves you. He's willing to live with it because out of this immense love to you. So He's happy with the headache you give Him, but the one who's suffering is you, not Him. And He's trying to help, and we sometimes say no, so we extend the suffering. Okay. What is the difference between Hitler and Mother Teresa? Why is that question funny? Why is it funny? Hitler was doing for the best of Germany, and Mother Teresa was doing for the best of the sick people in India. What's the difference? They are both doing for the best of people. Why is Hitler wrong? Answer this without God. Why is Hitler wrong? Hitler didn't do anything wrong. He is the head of Germany, and he wants Germany to rule the world. Why is that wrong? Sorry? He's killing the enemy.
He hated the Jews, that's why.
But who says this is wrong if the Jews are enemies of Germany? Yeah, but you can't tell. Some of them were. Are you getting the point? We can't say right or wrong without God saying right or wrong. So in the absence of God, Hitler can be a very useful person. Yes. What the heck is translated? Exactly. That's the life we live in. I'm glad you got it, and I wanted to put this. There is no difference between Hitler and Mother Teresa in a world where God doesn't exist. Are you guys getting what I'm getting at? Now I want to, all of the people who raised their hand, I want to hear your answers. Why is Mother Teresa is better? Sorry? Okay, he stole priceless painting. He's saving the painting from taken by the enemy. He likes to collect pricey paintings. Yeah, but who says? Tons of people followed him because he was getting Germany to rule the world.
He has a mustache.
He has a short mustache. That's one of his mistakes, yeah. Okay, yes.
His ideas didn't benefit the rest of the world.
Sure, his ideas didn't benefit the rest of the world, but he cares only for Germany. So he's a good leader. My president, if he cares for the United States, that's my best care. Your answers are all correct, but I'm trying to say how we can tell that this is completely okay if there is no God. Hitler can be a good person. Yes.
Hitler was being selfish. Mother Teresa was like helping people.
Excellent, excellent. Helping people in the presence of God makes sense. Being selfish when there is no God was existing also makes sense. And Rand says, why give? Take. There is no need to give. Just benefit.
Hitler killed his mom.
It's a good one. Hitler killed his mom. Okay.
One good thing that was little Volkswagen.
Okay. Hitler. You see, so we can find good things in Hitler. I'm not trying to convince you to. We learn from the retreat that Hitler is a good man. That would not be a good outcome.
Hitler made civil war in Germany.
Civil war, which is basically against the Jews, and there is people who offended Hitler. He ruthlessly killed them. He was hanging them from piano strings, and it was very, 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 very bad treatment against David.
The only one that should be ruling is God.
Thank you. That is the point. What David is telling you. Want to say something?
Hitler was poorly advised.
Very good. That's a very good thing for our vouching for our father of confession. You get the advice of being godly from the father of confession. Somebody moved it. Okay, no problem. Okay, so let's see this very important point. To deny the goodness of something because it is forbidden by a law-giving God is perfectly intelligible. That makes perfect sense. To say something is not going to happen, or I should not do this because God says no to it, that makes sense. But to say it is wrong without the existence of God, who forbids it is not? Who says it's wrong? For example, I'll give you an example next one. Two main points should be stated here. Apart from God, the concept of moral obligation, I have to be moral, I'm obliged to be moral, is void. There's no need for being moral. For whom are you obliged to? Who's going to give you a grade? Who's going to give you right or wrong? No one, so you can do whatever you want. That's actually why people go to atheism. If you think why people turn atheists, because of this. Because of this, especially youth. When God says no to something that the church, for example, is preaching, because church is the body of Christ, and the people in school don't want to listen to this, the easiest thing, get rid of God. I don't see him anyway. And that's why you guys suffer from atheists around it. The most important thing for people leaving God is moral obligation. And now I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have to go to confess. I don't have to repent. And they think they live happy, but unfortunately they live as slaves. Because when you do sin, you become a slave of it. You know what that means? Whenever the sin comes in front of you, you have to do it. Whenever something you want to take, you have to take it. That's going to be growing and growing in the person till he's really being difficult to deal with. Without God, the judge is the person or the culture. Hence, all judgments become relative, no absolute. Relative, yani, it's relative. What is wrong for you could be right for me. There's nothing called right and wrong. There is no absolute right and wrong. There's an example that war and crime and evil like Hitler cannot be called wrong in an absolute sense. On the other hand, equality and fairness cannot be said it's right. Why should you be fair? Just because it's good to be fair to people, it makes more sense when the God says be fair. So no one can say that anyone is right or anyone is wrong. There was an aeroplane that fell in a river in Washington, D.C., in the Potomac River. It's a while ago, maybe 20 or 30 years ago. And there was a person, there is the ladder of the helicopter trying to get the people out of the water. And they would see this person bringing people to the ladder, and they climbed the ladder up to the helicopter. He's saving their life. And then the helicopter got filled, and it went to release these people and come back. When they came back, the person was not there anymore. Why, if that person does not believe in God and Christianity and giving, what would make him do this? Give me one reason the person would save the lives of others and get himself killed.
Because he gives.
Yeah, but it makes more point to give because you see Christ giving. But what's the point of giving if there is no reward, if there is no God? There's no point. It's very hard to find an atheist who just gives his life away, dies for his purpose. Because there's no afterlife and there is no reward. So it's hard to sacrifice. Martyrs had it very easy. We love God. He did this himself on the cross. We want to be part of this. That's a perfect reason to give your life up. You see what I'm trying to say? But with no God, I don't see any motivation for offering yourself. Yes, Emmanuel.
Maybe he was suicidal. Or he was going to commit suicide and so and so.
A suicidal person is a depressed person. He doesn't help others by offering them a life knowing that his is in danger. For example, the ladder, what he would do, anyone what would do, a normal person, if anybody comes close to the ladder, I push him away and I climb the ladder. Because I want to save my life. Arguments can become very simple till you come to the moment of death. On the moment of death, the truth of the person appears. There is no way a selfish person will offer, oh, you go ahead, I'm gonna die for you. Do you think somebody will do this? No way. So that's why, if God is not existing, the world will be just full of selfish people. There is no point to be fair. There is no need to be fair. We are fair. Do you know why now the Christians are called you are the salt of the earth? Because we're sour? That's a very nice answer. No, the salt in a good sense, مش حاجة مالحة. I like the answer though, because we're sour. No, let's be salty, not sour. Salt gives flavor to the food. If too much salt in Christianity is good, but in the food it's not. Yes.
Guys, when you put salt on a plate, it gives it flavor, so it shows out.
Excellent. Excellent. When you put Christians into the world becomes a better place. The world is the plate, is the food. When you put Christians in it, the world becomes a better place. It has more flavor. We are the only religion that says, love your enemy. If Christians don't have this, there's going to be infinite wars between one another. Because there's no forgiveness, right? So please pay attention that God made us very unique. You are the salt of the earth. And if you don't get your reward here, there's something, you have no idea what will happen to you as soon as you pass away. The amount of glory, the amount of singing, the amount of crowns, the amount of angels coming to put you in front of Christ. You have no idea how, I want to say the word fun, but how amazing the moment of departure of a saintly person. Yes?
So why didn't that person that saved Godwin just ride on the ladder?
He didn't have energy anymore. He ran out of energy. It was an accident. He let the people go. The aeroplane went and dumped him. They came back. He could, khalas. He had no energy.
Why didn't they just get a boat?
A boat? It's much faster maybe to get to them quickly, and maybe with the helicopter, it's many details I can't answer, but it's the fastest thing to access the people. Put a ladder down, let them climb up into the helicopter and put them to land. So maybe the boat wasn't there yet. Maybe just, I don't know, but he wasn't there anymore. He gave his life up for saving other people.
Did they recover his body or something?
I don't know.
He might be
Get
still
the meaning of
alive.
the story. Don't go into details.
Okay, guys, things that affect right and wrong is your society, time, and location. Where are you going? Sorry. And location. Okay. For example, at school, do you find things at school that people do as normal and you find it is not Christian? Okay, I want examples. Who can give me examples of things you see? That's exactly what we say it's relative. The society says it's okay to it, the church doesn't agree with it, and God doesn't agree with it. Time for it, it was not okay before and now became okay. The location, the school could be in Asyut, is different than school in Laguna Niguel. Right? Definitely, if you take these people and put them in Asyut, they can function. And if you could take the Asyut people and put them in Laguna Niguel, you're going to find a completely different culture. So it depends on location. But God doesn't change by location or society or time. So give me examples of things that society says okay too, but God doesn't accept it. I'll get all your answers. Let's start from here.
Like, let's say you're in school and like bullying or something,
Bullying?
or teasing people and making them not feel
Okay.
Very good.
relationships.
Very good. Relationships. Things like dating, for example. We say wait on this because I'll tell you why wait. Anybody wants to know why the church says wait on dating? You want to know why? Okay. I'll tell you why. This is one of the biggest changes in culture. Very simple. When you know your boys, when you know a single girl that you click with, let me be very frank with you. You know what will happen? Your personality will not develop. Because you're going to be developing for only single one person. Are you guys getting the idea? So you will not be a complete person in a few years. You're going to be the person who stopped developing his personality because of that girl. Because you have to be close to her. You have to please her emotions. You have to answer to her. And all of these things. Are you guys getting the idea? So please do not paralyze and cripple yourself and cut your arms and legs by getting into a relationship early. When does this happen? When you're developed. Abuna is a physician. The frontal lobe of the mind, which makes decisions, gets developed when you're 21 years old. And that matches very well the time finishing college, deciding on career, knowing your plans, emotionally stable. Have met many girls. I'm not saying dated many girls. Met. We have to talk to the other gender, but in a friendly way. In a friendly way. Very important. If you click with one person, that is the end of your development. And guess what? It might be the end of your prayers as well. It's very hard to have a girlfriend and stand and pray with a pure heart. You're obsessed by someone. You're waiting for the text from someone. You're waiting for the call from someone. You're waiting for the look from someone. You're very angry when that someone talks to another someone. Am I making sense? So, I didn't mention even the Bible. I didn't even start saying verses like all things are lawful to me, but nothing should have control over me. That person will control you like nothing else. You're gonna be angry with your parents if you want to go out behind their back to meet her. You're gonna be doing so many things to cut corners to fulfill the single one request because that person you like her or she likes you. You're going to really lose your personality completely. You will not develop. You'll be such a shallow person. All what you care about is the look and the text and the smile for another person. That is not development. That's called slavery. That's called, I could be 6 foot tall and I decided to walk on my knees. Have you seen any basketball player who plays walking on his knees? That's you guys if you decide having a relationship early. You're not going to be walking tall, you're going to be walking on your knees. You're short. You're limited. Limited is the word for it. Personality is limited. Time is limited. Emotions are limited. Prayers are limited. You're not a whole person anymore. So please, 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 talking to the opposite gender is permissible, but it has to be in a group, in a friend, so that you can develop yourself, develop your personality, develop your religion, develop your relationship with God. Yes, Yusuf. Sorry? Whatever you want to say. A story. You want to say it in the microphone? Come here. Quickly, quickly. I'll get all of you. I'll get all of you. Don't worry. Whenever you want, I want to hear you. I'll get you as well. Just raise your hands when it's time to talk. But no jokes. I mean, unless it's related, but it's me.
Well, this one time, this kid had a weed, and then he knew he was about to be caught, so he went to the bathroom and ate it.
Ate it?
Yeah.
What?
Okay, next story. I love that story. It's very nice. Can you say how it tasted?
An example, time,
like women nowadays wear short shorts up to here. We've all seen them. And bikinis, like come on, we've all seen them. You guys want to speed us to the beach? I mean, that's just right. I don't wear
Thank you very much. Very deep. That's very deep. No, I'm not joking. That's a very good example. Time. Before it was still here, and now it's, I don't know where it goes, but anyway. David will give us some wisdom.
Sure, everybody.
That question may be liking the same gender as you.
What? Oh, like, oh, very good. I get it now, just a little bit late.
Thank you very much. Yes, that's a very clear sin. Very, very clear. Because that's not God's design to complement one another.
I have a question in general.
You have a question in general?
One of my classmates, his friend told us, because my friends, he
Can you
doesn't.
come here and say that?
I hope this works. Come here and say, because I wanted all your questions to be recorded. It's very useful for others. What's your name, Habibi? Michael. Michael will ask us a question. Anybody with other comments, be ready for it.
So my friend, he doesn't do dates and stuff. He's a Catholic, and his friend said, "Are you gonna do dating in high school?" He said, "No, I'm not. I'm not ready for that." And he said, "You're gonna be a virgin for your entire life." What do you think about that?
Anybody wants to answer this question? Is it true really that if you don't date at school, you're going to be a virgin all your life? Let me backtrack. Is being a virgin all your life something bad?
Yes.
Well, what nonsense, guys? You hit the nail on the head. The society made having a relationship with the opposite gender as a goal, not as a means. You know the difference between the two?
Yeah.
Having marriage and having a relationship with another person is a means to get to the kingdom of heaven. Everything, whether the person is a virgin all his life, means consecrated to God, not just a virgin with no purpose. Because usually the person decides on virginity because he wants to dedicate all his life to God, all his focus. No family to care for. It's not bad, but it's going to be distracting. It's written in the Bible very clearly. The one who is a virgin pleases the Lord, and the one who is not a virgin has to please his wife. That he has to give attention to his wife, and vice versa. It applies to both genders. So it's a calling from God to different people, but the target at the end is God. Marriage is for God, and virginity is for God. Are you guys getting this? This is very, as you get it so clear. Without God's existence, nothing makes any sense. Okay, so what Michael is saying, it's not true at all, definitely. There is going to be time for physical relationship that will come after marriage, has to be after marriage. And yes, because anything physical becomes addictive very quickly. Anything physical becomes addictive very quickly. It's hard to get rid of. You get accustomed to the physical action, and then it takes a lot of effort to live above it. Yes. But he wanted to say something. Yeah. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, but I already asked someone else if you did in your 20.
Okay. Knowing the opposite gender, you can do it at any point. But with the mindset, I will not focus on someone.
Guys, we're gonna break.
We share the space, and we share maybe some interest, but I'm not focusing on someone. Yes. Yeah.
Is it wrong to marry someone who isn't Coptic Orthodox?
This is different. Marrying somebody who's not Coptic Orthodox I've been through relationships with people like this before. There's so many differences between the two. Like the families could be different culture. It makes it harder. But it is okay if the person is willing to be, if they're not baptized, to be baptized, not for the purpose of marriage, like from their heart. They want to know Christ in our faith. And our faith is very, very authentic. This is very deep. Has all of the things that we need, the confession, the communion, everything. So it is okay, but the person has to be doing it for the purpose of God and joining the church, not just I want to get married and khalas. Otherwise they'll fool themselves and it will not last very, very long.
Would it be wrong to marry a Catholic and that Catholic, she would refuse to go to your church because she doesn't understand that?
Okay, we're getting into a different topic. I think this is another session, questions and answers for another session. Very quickly to this, would it be wrong to marry a Catholic if she doesn't want to come to your church? Well, it is not a matter of wrong and right. For example, I married a Catholic girl into Coptic person, but I told her, you're still part of your family. For example, on the feast, you want to go with your family to Easter, for example, and the family says, come and have communion with us, please go with them, so they don't feel that we took you away from the family. So in these circumstances, yes, but just in both all the time, that is not permitted. They have true communion, and we have true communion. But the churches have not joined yet at the top. The Pope is the only one who can join both of them, the two popes. At the bottom, at our level, we should not just cut through these barriers. It doesn't mean we're better or they are better. No. They have true communion, the body and blood of the Lord. We have true communion, the body and blood of the Lord. But for the sake of the children, for the sake of the family, for the sake of having consistent teaching and relationship with the priest, we should focus on one of them. Not flip-flop between the two. Okay? Yes, we'll take the last two comments, and I think you guys want to get out of here, so... Guys, okay, let's respect the person who's about to speak. Yes. Come quickly, your voice. I'll give it to David till you come.
David. So, answering to my...
Hey, hold on, I'll give it to David till he comes. Come, go ahead.
Answering to Michael's question, how is it wrong, like, being a virgin? I mean, he might be planning to be a monk. He might be planning to be a monk, and monks don't necessarily marry, so you never know.
They don't marry.
Yes. They don't. Thank you. They don't.
Actually, David, no, you're right, David. Necessarily can apply here. If you want to become a monk, if like your wife dies and you don't have children, you can go and become a monk. So you don't have a family to take care of.
Guys, please, we're almost done. I know you're all antsy and you're hungry and all that stuff. We're almost done, okay? So please pay attention. Please pay attention. Guys, I wish it was as quiet as it was last night when we were praying. If we could do that, that would be awesome.
Like you said that when you get in a relationship, you have like change. Well, my friend, he got in a relationship and he loves soccer to play with me, but then like a few days after that, he's all like, no, I have to go.
Excellent example. Hobbies and interests and progress. Very good. Okay. Guys, for the sake of your time, we'll end here because we need to go.
Hey, wait.
Abuna, you wanna announce something?